Alright, welcome back. This is part 8 of chapter 5. Yeah? We're looking at solving for the unknown interest rate or discount rate in a problem, in a simple time value of money problem. So I was explaining in the previous clip that we are using formulas. Then for this particular problem, you need to know how to use the yx key, y to the power of x key, and the reciprocal key 1 over x key in the calculator, a normal scientific calculator. So you need to know how to use these two keys here. Right. Now let's look at an example here where we apply this formula. You are looking at an investment that will pay 1,200 in 5 years. If you invest $1,000 today, what is the implied interest rate? Now again, this is a simple time value of money problem. So in any simple time value of money problem, you need to identify the three known elements of a simple time value of money problem, and then you solve for the fourth unknown. The unknown fourth element. Okay, so here the first element is this 1,200 in 5 years. So this is future value. This future value is given. If you invest $1,000 today, so this is present value. So there are two elements here. One is 1,200. This is in the future value, and this is present value. And the other thing that is known is the term. The difference between the first cash flow and the second cash flow is this 5-year term. So this n is 5. So the unknown must be the remaining element, which is the interest rate or the discount rate. Okay, so using the formula, you can get this. This is the formula here. You don't see the formula fully here, right? You can see it here. Right? So 1,200 divided by 1,000, all this, this becomes 1.2. You raise this to the power of the reciprocal of 5, or 1 over 5. When you minus 1, you get 3.714%. So that's the answer here. That means if you invest $1,000 now and you get $1,200 in 5 years, the interest rate that you earn from this is only 3.714% per year. That's the idea behind this. Now note this, if you're using the sign convention, okay, so this would be invest, so that would be a cash outflow, negative 1,000, and this will be paying. It says it will pay, that means you receive 1,200 in 5 years, after 5 years. So this is positive. Alright, so you can solve using the formula this way, or you can also use the calculator. We'll look at the calculator a bit later on. Let's look at a second example here. Suppose you are offered an investment that will allow you to double your money in 6 years. Okay, you have 10,000 to invest. What is the implied rate of interest? Again, in this example, look for the three known elements. What are the three known elements? The first one is 6 years, the term, n, 6 years, this is known. You have $10,000 to invest now. So this is the present value cash flow. That's 10,000. Okay, and then what is the third known element? Okay, it is not stated directly, but note this. You can double your money. Double here means 2 times this 10,000, so 20,000. And this is future value because double your money in 6 years. So this is future value at the end of 6 years, or end of year 6. Okay, so we know these three elements. So the fourth unknown element must be the implied interest rate or the discount rate. Okay, so to solve this, we can use the formula 20,000 divided by 10,000. This is 2, right? then raise this to the power of the reciprocal of 6, or raise this to the power of 1 over 6, then you minus 1, you get 12.246%. Yeah? So it means that if you invest $10,000 and if you want to double your money, yeah, that means you want to get 20,000, yeah, after 6 years of this investment, then you must earn 12.25 roughly, yeah, 12.25% per year. Then only you'll get 20,000. Anything less than this, you won't get 20,000, you'll get less than 20,000. Okay, that's the implication, yeah. Now, there is this rule number 72, yeah, rule number 72, or rule of 72, yeah. In short, it's called rule of 72. Now, this rule can be used to, it's an approximation, yeah. You can use this rule when, yeah, under condition when the investment, yeah, the investment is doubled in value, yeah, doubles in value, then we can use this rule number, yeah, rule number 72. Okay, otherwise we cannot use this rule, and even if you use this rule, this is only an approximation, yeah, this is not an accurate answer. Okay, let's try this, yeah. Why can we use this rule number 72? Because here you double, yeah, 10,000, you increase it to 20,000, twice the value, yeah. So when that happens, then you can use this rule number 72, even though it's an approximation, yeah. Alright, so rule number 72 works this way, yeah. You take 72, divided it by the interest rate per period in percent, yeah. Alright, for example here, you take 72 divided by, you want to find the interest rate, yeah? So you take the number of periods needed to double, yeah, the investment value. So the number of periods is 6 here, so 72 divided by 6, you will get 12, right? So 12 is actually 12%, yeah? This 12 is stated as 12%. So if you take this 72 divided by 6, 6 here means number of years, 6 years, okay, you get 12. This 12 is interpreted as percent, yeah. So this is the formula for rule number 72, yeah. You take any problem where you double, yeah, the investment, you take 72 divided by n, you get r, yeah. This r is in percentage, okay, yeah. So the inverse, the opposite is also true, yeah. That means if you bring n to this side and r to this side, then it becomes this, yeah. So it can be applied, okay, for both when the r is unknown or when the n is unknown, yeah. So the other value must be known, yeah? For example, if you want to solve for n, then r must be known, yeah. Here if you want to solve for r, then n must be known, yeah. Of course here, rule number 72 applies when the future value is twice the value of the present value, yeah, twice the present value. Then only you can use this rule number 72, yeah. And note this, yeah, the approximation says 12%, the exact answer is 12.25%, yeah, roughly, yeah. So therefore it's quite close. It's not exact, but it's a rule of thumb, yeah. So it is used as a rough estimate. Okay, so you need to know what this rule number 72 is. Alright, yeah. Let's look at another example here. Okay, suppose you have a 1-year-old son and you want to provide 75,000 in 17 years towards his college education, yeah. Alright, you currently have 5,000 to invest, yeah. What interest rate must you earn to have the 75,000 when you need it? Note this, yeah. Here the son is 1 year old, yeah, right? But you invest now, and it says you need 75,000 in 17 years. That means in 17 years, it has nothing to do with the age of the son, yeah. So it is 17 years from now. Therefore, times 0 to end of year 17. Yeah? Alright. Therefore, again, look for the 3 known elements. What are the 3 known elements? First, 75,000. This is future value, yeah, because this is the value after 17 years. The second known element is the term 17 years. Okay. Now, what is the third known element? It's given here, not here, yeah, in the question, but it's given here. you have $5,000 to invest. That is the present value now. Okay, so the question is the unknown element here. It is the fourth unknown element, which is the interest rate you earn. Yeah, so that this $5,000 now becomes $75,000 after 17 years. Okay, after 17 years, the son will be 18 years old, yeah, because now the son is 1 year old, yeah, but that doesn't matter, yeah. So the key value of n here is 17, yeah. Alright, so it means that the 1 year old son will start college when he is 18 years old, and so it is still 17 years from now, yeah. So note that, yeah. So this 1 year old son is red herring, yeah, they call this. This is additional information, but if you take that as a value, yeah, for example, which must be used in your computation, then you get it wrong, yeah. So that is not relevant, yeah, information that is not relevant here or not required here. Okay, so we continue. Okay, so we use the formula, yeah, the future value divided by the present value, all this raised to the power of 1 over n. Okay, then you minus 1, you get the r, yeah? So in this case, 75,000 divided by 5,000, this raised to the power of the reciprocal of 17, or raised to the power of 1 over 17, then you minus 1, yeah? So you get 17.2686%, yeah, roughly 17.27%, yeah, as stated here. Okay, that is the interest that you must earn. Yeah? If you earn less than this, then your $5,000 investment will not grow, yeah, up until it becomes 75,000 in 17 years. Okay, right. Now you can also use the future value interest factor table. Yeah, this is table 1. Okay, A1. Yeah, in your appendix. R percent 17 years. Yeah, now note this. Yeah. This is a bit tricky in using the table, yeah. How? So you need to use this formula, future value at end of year or period 17 is equals to the present value now multiplied by this value, right? Future value interest factor, R percent. This is not known, yeah. You want to solve for this, and you know it's 17 periods, yeah. Therefore, you replace the known value 75,000 equals to 5,000 multiplied by the unknown value, yeah. So here the future value interest factor annuity R percent 17 years must be 75 divided by 5, which is 15, yeah. Now what you should do is look for the row, yeah. This is row because number of periods 17, yeah. And you look right across from 1% onwards, yeah, until the end. Look for the value 15, yeah, that is 15.0000 or something close to that. Okay, you will find that, okay, it lies between R being 16% and 17%, yeah, that is what the table tells you, yeah, because it doesn't give you a precise answer. For example, 17.27 is not available in the table, yeah, so you know that it's between 16% and 18%, yeah, that's the best the table can do, yeah. So in this particular example, you know when you're solving for the unknown interest rate, the table is less superior, yeah, it's very limited. Okay, it's best to use the formula. Okay, right, so this is how you solve that. Okay, so we express this, we show this on a timeline, yeah, this problem, yeah. So you have this 0 until 70. Okay, and the known element is 17-year term. This is known, one known element. The second known element is you receive, yeah, you want to receive 75,000 after 17 years. And the other known element is there is a deposit of 5,000. Now note the sign convention. Yeah? This is negative and this is positive because we deposit, cash outflow, we receive, this is cash inflow. Yeah? Now the unknown element, okay, now interest is compounded or added 17 times, yeah. From 5,000 it is compounded or added 17 times so that your principal grows from 5,000 to 75,000 at the end of 17 years, yeah. So the unknown element is the interest rate, okay, earned per year, and this is how you solve it, and you find that this interest rate is 17.27 roughly, yeah, to 7%.